All right, so we're going to factor the greatest common factor out of all of our terms. So we're going to factor out what's in common between these two terms, which is, we'll do the coefficients first. So the 12 and the 16 is a 4. And factoring is like dividing. So when I divide both of these by 4, I'm left with a 3. And then I'm also left with a 4. And then what's in common between both of these, oops, didn't leave enough room here, is an a. So when I divide a squared by a, I'm left with an a. When I divide a by a, I'm left with 1. So that is what I factor to. I can double check by doing distributive property to see if I get back to where I started or not. And that'll tell me whether or not I got the right answer. Okay. So 5 is in common. So divide by 5. And I'm left with 4 and a 9 and a negative 7. And then x squared. So that leaves me with nothing. That leaves me with a y. And that leaves me with a y squared. Okay? And that is it. So now what I want you to do is I want you to, again, with the check for understanding, pause the video right now. Try both of these. Then unpause the video and see if you got the same answer as I did. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. All right, so now you should have done both of these. So what's in common between here is an 11. So I have an 11 that I can pull out. And I'm left with a 3 and then a minus 11. And then what's in common between these is an n squared. So I divide by n squared, that cancels out. Divide by n squared here, and I'm left with just 1n. All right. A little trick here next. So 14 divisoid 2, divisoid 2, divisoid 2. So I could pull out a 2. They all have, so that gives me a 7. That gives me a negative 3 and a 5, plus 5. Okay. Then they all have an a. So that cancels that out. That cancels that out. That leaves me with 1a left. And then it looks like they all have a c. So then that leaves me with a c out here. So that leaves me with a b squared. I'm left with 1c and no c's there. Okay. And so that's, oops. So that is the answer you should have gotten. And that's it for this lesson.